All right, this is Mr. Rosen's English 2 class. We're going to have a Socratic seminar of mice and men. I'm just going to sit back and facilitate a little bit here and there, but you guys can get started. Whoever wants to start can take it away.
Okay, so I'll go with question 2. Is Curly's wife a victim or a villain? Should we feel sorry for her? Explain. Curly's wife is a villain because she's a villain because the way she presented herself was bad in front of other people, and she's always looking around for Curly in the barn, even though she really knows where he's at. She's always looking for someone. And I got another quote. It said, "Nobody can blame her for looking." That means you can't, or she doesn't want people to judge her, but the way she's acting is so differently.
She was lonely though. She's the only girl on the farm.
Yeah, she should
She
act
needs
more.
somebody to talk to.
Okay,
But she's not talking.
I completely disagree because I think that she was lonely. Like you guys forget that she was the only female on a farm with all these men. She's lonely, and then she's mad young to begin with. Like she's really young because the time remember when she was still living with her mother, it wasn't that far from when she got married, and she was really, really young, and it was like she was isolated from everybody because everybody felt that she was always like trying to chase other guys, but she really wasn't. She just wanted somebody to talk to.
How do you know that?
Why? How do you know? Did she do anything to anybody?
It's in the book exactly. If you read closely, it seems like she's flirting around. She's
flirting
around.
Maybe that's her way of being
Even when
nice.
she didn't know she was
I didn't say she can talk to anyone, but it's like she doesn't have to flirt with other people.
Maybe that's just the way she talked.
Even
when she was in the bar,
So
she didn't even told
wait. What is flirting to you then?
Exactly.
It's just the way that she
Give me
presented herself.
something
Why
that
is she
tells you
just
that
being
she was
nice?
flirting.
Flirting. Even when I first met Lenny and George, she
Okay,
One at a time.
when she first went inside the barn, the way she stood and she had her chest
That's
out.
the way you saw it in the movie.
No, that's
No,
the way
that
they
was
said
in
it
the
in the
book. That was
book.
in the book.
Find the quote to support your claim.
That was in the book.
I have a quote for my claim. It says, it said that George and Candy were saying that she's a jailbait all set on the trigger. Like, why do you have to say that? She's just wanting to talk to people. Why do you have to look at her like she either wants something from you guys or like is pretending to be somewhere?
But that right there should give you evidence that she wants too much attention.
She even told
Because she's lonely.
She's married. She shouldn't have to
lonely,
get
and her husband isn't treating her
That's
right.
her
Okay.
problem.
All right, Sarah.
That's her
If
problem.
your argument is that her husband isn't treating her well and that she's the only girl on the farm, we're saying that she's flirty or whatever, but you're saying she's not flirty. She should understand that if she's the only one on the farm, she should try to leave. She should try to flee away from the men,
And she's thinking
away from the lust, away from everybody that's around her.
Why would it? What?
That if she knows that she's the only female on the farm and she has no one to talk to and she feels like trapped,
Because she's married.
And
she
told
should
Lenny.
flee. That's what he
And
said.
she's probably scared of
She's
Curly. though, 'cause,
married.
like,
Where's she gonna
even,
go?
Yeah, even when they were talking, like he was like telling her like to get out, and the first time she stood up to him, but then the second time he was just looking at her, and then she left. Maybe she's just
She
scared.
even
of him.
opened up to Lenny saying like
So
he's
she's
not
Yeah,
even
that's
a
what I
man.
was
She's gonna flirt with every other guy.
Okay, then she
Where's she gonna
No,
go?
I'm saying she
Please.
doesn't want to
Where's she
leave
gonna go? What's she
because
gonna
she's
do?
scared of him. She doesn't know what he's gonna do to her.
Exactly.
If she tries to leave, who knows if he doesn't find her?
Obviously,
Okay, he didn't beat her for messing with every other guy, but she's always not.
Because there
allowed
was
it.
no evidence.
Of her messing with another.
Yeah.
But every guy says so. You
Yeah.
said it yourself. You said the quote. You said what? Well, you said repeat yourself.
I said she's a jailbait all set on the trigger. As in, if you go approach her, then like that's a case right there. Like
Exactly.
don't even stay
The fact
away
that
from
every
her.
guy on the farm thinks that says something about
But
her.
that-
That's a
every guy.
rumor. It's just that's just your opinion. It could be one thing, but you can't always think that your way without actually knowing is correct. You don't know what's going on the other side.
Alright, let's
she could
take-
just be really, really nice, and that's just her way of being nice.
Let's take
she's
Lenny's.
flirty.
Let's take
You
Lenny's
already know
side,
how
right?
She is like, why she gotta be touchy?
Maybe she doesn't get enough from her husband. Maybe she doesn't.
She don't
Maybe
love
she
her
got
husband.
into it thinking that it was something that
She
she
don't
didn't
love
like,
her
and now
husband.
she
She
got
don't
rid
love
of
her husband.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
She
mean,
don't want him
if
to
you
get
look,
away from her mom.
right,
That
I mean,
too.
we
She was trying to get
we don't know exactly why she married. She just said she didn't make it to the pictures. She didn't make it to the movies. Then I married Curly.
Yeah, it went right into that.
She doesn't like her life.
To get away from her mother.
She really didn't think that through.
Well, I'm gonna just say I feel like she's both a victim and a villain because at the end of the day, even though she came up to Lenny looking for attention like always, and wanting him to like, to flirt with her back and things like that. Like what was her attention? Like she does that to every male in the farm. But then again, she is a victim because she didn't deserve to her life to be taken away. Even though Lenny is a little like, yeah, he's like mentally challenged. I feel like he shouldn't need help from the start when George, when George was responsible for him. Like he should have had help, like know right from wrong. Every person who has a mental disability, they always get help and they know when you should do this and when you should not. And that was just Lenny's fault. Like he didn't know what he was doing, and at the end of the day, you should get punished for that.
I think she was a victim because when she was like you said, like she talked about how her mom, she think her mom kept that letter from her, and her only way out was to think, all right, I need to find something else to do with my life. Like her dreams are obviously crushed because she doesn't know whether or not her mom took it or if she didn't. And then I guess she just married Curly just to get away, and she was talking about she was talking to Crooks when she said, she was like, do you guys think you're so good? And that she could have went with the shows. I think we should feel sorry for her because she was forced to give up her life. And she was forced to give up her life because she had her dreams set on something that she really wanted to do. But then after she thought her mom had did something to mess that up, her only way was to think, all right, so I have Curly, so I might as well just marry him and get away. I guess she just felt like her life was over. And then it's not her fault because she went to Lenny as a friend. Like she was just talking to him, and they were even as you saw in the movie, they were having a normal conversation, and she felt uncomfortable when he started touching her hair the wrong way, and it wasn't her fault either because Lenny was told by George that you're gonna get it. Like he kept thinking he was gonna get in trouble every time he did something, and he just felt like extra scared because if somebody's putting that fear in him, then obviously you already know he's already vulnerable to that fear. So he's obviously going to be even more scared than he already is. And then all he kept saying was he's not going to be able to do something he wanted to do, which is pet the rabbits. He can't pet the rabbits. George is going to be mad at him, and all he wanted her to do was just be quiet.
I agree with you, but yeah, she shouldn't have died. There's no reason she shouldn't have died. But the fact that she walked into the barn and Lenny kept telling her that he shouldn't be talking to her, that he kept telling her to leave. He kept pushing her. But the fact that she stood and kept antagonizing the situation, maybe she didn't deserve to die, but in her head, she kind of knew something was going to happen.
And also, she should have saw the signs. She saw him kill a pup.
Well, she didn't see
It's
Pell,
just
but she saw him with the dead.
All right, but if I walk,
But
if
she
that was
knows
all right.
he's a little kid in the head. Like she knows that, so she's not gonna think she's not gonna be scared of him.
It's not like he killed a person. Like it's not like she walked in there and someone was dead on the
She
floor.
even said it.
It's
She
just
said,
still.
like a big
I wouldn't
baby.
be honestly if any one of us would put ourselves in her shoes. I wouldn't be scared either. Like it's not that serious.
This is a dog.
I
I
got
got
a
a
dog.
dog.
That dog
I'd be
is
lucky
like
on the
this
floor
little,
dead.
and
I would
he's
be like,
strong.
what's
Like
up
you know
with
how
you?
strong he is. Did you not see him working on the farm? All the other people couldn't even lift him.
And then she should have kept her distance away from him. If she knows how strong he is.
That's her problem. She don't know.
She's
When you
not
say no,
aware
she
of
don't-
things.
She
don't,
let him play with her
She
hair.
don't listen to you.
Exactly.
Okay, so
She's like
but
a man.
they were having a
When you say
normal
no, they still
conversation.
go.
It's like she said, "Oh, you want to touch my hair? Oh, you want to touch me?" No, they were having a normal conversation. Oh, I like touching velvet. Oh, I like touching soft things. They were having a normal conversation.
She
pushed
said that was
Lenny. She said,
I
love
how you
touch my hair.
One at a time.
She's like that.
One at a time.
She pushed Lenny.
Oh my bad.
She said, I like it.
She pushed Lenny to the point where he had to talk to her. He kept saying, "I don't want to talk to you. I don't
Because
wanna have
what?
nothing-
Because what?
I don't want to have nothing to do with you."
Why though?
He
She's
knows
trouble.
that she's gonna bring trouble because George told him
What
she's
trouble
gonna
you gonna
bring
bring?
trouble.
What
Okay.
trouble?
Now
But George isn't the only
What
guy
trouble?
that said she was trouble.
they're gonna get fired.
Everybody
And
says
then
he's
what
happened?
Everybody says she's trouble, but nothing ever happens.
But you know
everyone
what
stays
Lenny
away
died.
from her. Everyone stays away from her.
Slim.
Everybody
Because the
knows
rumor
that.
was that Slim and Curly's wife were together, but that was not true.
That's
You know how
They
easy
were gonna
she is.
lose their jobs. It's just that.
She's easy. He knows that Curly.
How do you know
Why
she's
did-
easy?
What
The
you
way
mean
she
how you know
presents
she's easy?
herself.
Remember she was at the
Yeah,
thing.
Isn't
She
it
was
just
like,
for?
hey, boys.
But
Y'all basically
You're married. Why
Can't
y'all
you just
say
say-
gay boys?
Maybe
But
she's just getting
lonely,
that.
She don't even
That's
like
the
her
part I had.
husband.
She should want. Maybe she just wants attention.
I have guy friends. I don't be like touch my hair. I like it when you touch my. You shouldn't even be touching my hair. You're
Because
my
she knows
friend.
Lenny's
What
a
is
big old
this?
baby. Like, he's not in the head. She knows Lenny's
No, but why
not a
she
dangerous.
was that way every other guy?
If I'm
She
placed-
gotta look
she
for
would've
attention.
If I'm placed on a farm, right, with a whole bunch of men, I'm the only girl, the only one, right,
And I'm
Only
married.
one.
I don't even like
and I'm
my
married,
husband.
and I don't like my husband,
What?
I don't
You
want
gonna
nothing
wanna
to do
find
with
friends, regardless.
and
of
I
anything.
didn't know what I was getting myself into after the fact. Obviously, I'm gonna want somebody to talk to, and she knows Lenny is not all there. She knows that it's easier to talk to him.
Exactly.
He's the only one that understands her.
I see what you're saying, but that's your fault for getting married in the first place and not knowing what you were getting yourself
All
into.
right, but is she
You
the
already made a
victim?
mistake. Why are you
Is
trying
she-
to solve it with
wait, so
another
is she
mistake?
the
Like, why
victim?
you
What's the
trying-
other mistake?
The,
So
the
is
first
she the-
mistake she married Curly, but the second mistake she's trying to flirt with other men.
Okay.
If you felt like your life was over and that's the only thing you had left in
Flee.
you to
Okay, then settle
You're
down.
looking for
Then just
attention
settle
the
down for
wrong
Curly.
way.
You don't have to do another mistake and go flirt around with other people. Settle down for him.
But
You
if
have to
I
deal
know
with
that
it.
my marriage
Yeah.
isn't
Curly
right
She
for
wanted
me,
attention. and
then
she
I'm
wanted
gonna want
it.
somebody else's attention.
You're looking for it the wrong way.
Yeah, but
Why
she
you
doesn't
gotta
even
be
like-
patient?
She
That's
doesn't
why-
even
that's
like
why
her
you're
husband.
married.
Her
Because she's
husband's not
friendly
good
without
to her.
flirting.
Her husband's not good to her. She don't even like her husband.
But why should I
Okay, then
flirt
she
though?
can be friendly
Why
without
should I
flirting.
flirt?
Well, actually, yeah.
We all know
If she really
You know
wanted
that she was
her
flirting with
friend,
other
you know
people.
how you
Because
should act.
because maybe she knows like that's the best way to get a man's
Yeah,
No, that's not.
maybe that's the way that she was
Talk,
raised.
not flirt.
Talk.
Well, yeah, but
Talk.
I think we did see what finally did happen when she was talking, and look
And then
what
look what happened. When she was talking regular to Lenny, look what happened.
Because okay,
Oh wait, hold on. Clarissa brought up a good point.
They never gave her the chance to talk because as soon as she walked in, it was like, oh, she's
Which is
flirting
why.
and stuff.
because
Which
That's
is
how
why
she-
I
that's
said
how-
that.
that's
But I
how-
never
when she
gave her
met
a
Lenny,
chance to
talk.
talk.
When they came to when she came to the
she
phone.
gave people the wrong idea of her. That's her fault. She gave people the wrong
I mean, in
idea
the,
of her.
be-
She's
in the
like,
Shit.
beginning, in the book,
Mhm.
how was she
Flirting around.
presented? This flirtatious
Okay,
woman
wait.
who just wanted attention, who just flaunt herself like she was
But-
an object, like
but-
she wasn't a person.
But
So why would
she
you
didn't
get into that trouble with Curly?
she was already put at a disadvantage before she even introduced herself. Why?
Because she was the way she
The
was
reputation
Girl's
she
wife.
left. The reputation she left in the farm.
Not the reputation
Shirley's
she left, but
wife.
the reputation that the
Curly.
men.
had on
Left
her.
on her. Like, I don't know.
Candy
You don't
Candy described her
the
before
first
she
thing he
even
said, wait until you see
Curly's
know.
Curly's
That's why
wife.
we think that.
And that's the first
Like,
thing
she
they
had
had
no,
to bring up.
she had no separate.
That's a total
Their
gossip
mind
right
was
there.
made up about her before
The
they even met her.
first thing they did when
oh,
they
they
got
saw how she is. They saw how she
Call it a
is.
day.
They
Next
found
question.
out that's what was
when
wrong.
they
Based
first
on
got on. Oh
previous-
my god. When they first got on the farm, that was the first thing he said to her. When do you see Curly's wife? Why is that the first subject you bring up? They're new people. They're just now coming here. You already want to start the gossip.
Only girl.
They're already
Let them make a decision
Wait,
about
wait, wait,
everything.
wait. They're already bringing her bad into her bad. Okay, how do you say it? Like they're already describing her as a bad person. So that's how they're gonna think of her from that point on. If I'm fresh coming to this school and somebody comes to me like, oh, you wouldn't like her, blah 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 blah, I'm obviously gonna think, oh, maybe they're right because I haven't been here that long, so I don't really know much. I'm just gonna go off of what they're telling me.
Yeah, you're gonna have a negative disposition towards that person.
Yeah,
before you
that's
get
how
into
we
it.
are.
I agree with that. But you saw the way she was
Because
acting. Like, you saw the way she was acting. You saw the way she was flirting.
Yeah,
that
and that's
was
why
not
they
wrong.
kept their distance because of what they heard
Because
from
they
them.
because they know that she was trouble, and when they saw her, they didn't change their mind. She was still trouble.
Exactly my point. If they saw her and they knew from another person that she was that type of way, then why would
But
they
they
continue
saw the
to
way she was
blame
acting.
them?
They saw
Like,
the
you
way she was acting.
But,
she was still trouble.
I'll just say the comment that she made that I thought was really good when she's in Crooks's bunkhouse, and she says like get any of the guys. I forget where it was, but she says like anytime.
Because can I say it?
Yeah.
Because when they're like alone, she's alone with one guy, they're gonna be like, "Oh, you're so beautiful, oh baby." But when it's like everyone else, it's like, "Oh my God, look at this whore."
That's what I'm
Right,
saying.
right.
That's what guys be doing. Like, you may think that they really think that she's a tart and a thought and all that, but in secret, like, they would really finesse on her. That, like,
Use
boys are
normal
gross.
vocabulary.
Yeah, please.
Anyway, I as much as I do love this conversation because we can probably.
Which number was that?
That was number 2. We could probably discuss this until like the sun comes down.
Nah, she's flirt. That's it.
Let's move on to another one. Matt, you haven't. I'm gonna give priority to the people that haven't spoken that much. So
I haven't.
yeah, you can go ahead as well
Number
after
one,
Matt.
George.
here's what I have. George's faith in living his dream wavers throughout the novel. Do you think he truly believes in getting the farm or not? You may want these multiple examples. Well, what I put is that I think that George only believes in getting the farm because of Lenny, but with Lenny, kill Curly's wife, he stopped, caring about getting the land. In page 94, it states, before George answered, Candy dropped his head and looked down at the hay. He knew. This shows that, George knew that the dream is impossible to achieve, and George talks about, talks to Lenny, like, about the farm, just like, start just to keep Lenny, like, happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, that's, like, to persuade him, like, to think, the good stuff, but not, like, the negative.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to add on. I agree with what Matt said. His ultimate goal was to make Lenny happy. He wanted just them two to have the dream house. They want to live together. They want to do everything together, and that's what they said in the beginning. We are gonna do it together. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. It's the matter of when Lenny messed it up. When Lenny messed the killing Curly's wife and fleeing. He basically messed up George's dream because now he's about to get fired. They're about to flee. It's going to happen over and over. And George was just tired. Like in the beginning, you could see his ambition was to get the house and live together and be happy and have those little rabbits or whatever. But later, it's the matter of his patience got so thin that it's not gonna. It's a cycle of life. I can't keep putting up with a guy that's gonna ruin my whole career.
I agree.
Oh yeah, I think he gave up because Lenny, he represented the dream because like every time it was Lenny that always brought it up and he was like, tell me about the dream, George. And once he died, that was the dream too. So the dream died too.
Yeah. Also.
Once he died, what?
The dream died too.
Oh, yeah,
Also,
that's true.
Okay. Also, you can notice in the movie how when Lenny, George, and Candy was discussing the dream, you saw George how excited he was, and he said, "We'll have 450, and I bet we could take it for that." Like the farm was for 600,000, they could have got it for 450, and George was willing to put in the work for that farm. But at the end, when you saw what happened with Lenny and Curly's wife. George also said, "I'll take my $50 and I'll stay in all night in some lousy cat house." Here he's given up on that dream. So,
Good point.
I think that George only believed in his dream when Candy was talking about it. But other than that, I feel like every time he talked about it, he sounded like he had no faith in it at all. Even from the beginning, when he talked about his dream, he said it to make Lenny happy.
It's like an illusion, like
it was an opportunity to take
It's like a fairy tale, like that they
You guys
have.
didn't think it's
like
gonna
maybe
happen.
there's a goal, but he's like too close-minded. He's like, yeah, I want to do it, but I can't do it. Like I know I won't make it, especially when I have Lenny here. No one else is gonna help me. Like it was just an illusion. Like something I want to do, and I know like it's gonna make us happy, and we're gonna live a better life.
Well, it's
but
not
it's
that.
impossible. It's not gonna happen.
Or even
No,
that
that-
scene with where he was talking to Candy. Maybe he was just drunk. He just came back from the cat house, so he was probably just talking out loud.
That's a really interesting point. I never thought of that.
Another
Can
thing
I
I
make
want
a
to add on
connection?
to
Wait.
another thing I want to add on, like what I says also in page 14, it states, and live off the fat of the land. With this means like that George wanted Lenny to repeat it as to keep him happy. That's also another way so that Lenny doesn't feel anything else like sad or it's like another way just like to repeat it so that like it could be also to work and also like to get the dream. But the problem is that the dream is not like really that possible.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like almost like it was he said it to pacify and placate Lenny.
Yeah, I think he was just doing he wasn't so as worried about the dream as much as Lenny. Like Lenny brought it up every time Lenny brought it up. Then he would describe it. Like it's not like he had that in the back of his mind. I think once he got to the ranch, it was like he completely forgot about it. And it's like every time Lenny brought it up, he was just like so nonchalant about it. Like he was just describing it. Like every time he described it, it just seemed like he was just describing it drier and drier and drier. Like it was like in the beginning, he was like, okay, like Lenny, he was like, okay, we'll live outside of there, happy that, blah blah blah. And then like as time went on, it was just like everything was just getting tired. Like and after he started killing the animals, and then after Curly's wife died, I guess he thought that was like the last straw. Like that was it.
Oh, my connection is that it's like my uncle, he wants his like his kid's like a toddler, and he wants him to be an athlete. So they have like since he was a baby, like they had like nursery rhymes and stuff like that for like athletes to like, I don't know, it's like a blessing, not a blessing, but like it's like a thing to like get it in his head that
The
he's
mantra.
gotta, yeah, it's like that with Lenny, because him and George are always talking about the farm in that exact same story, and it's like a goal that they want to achieve.
Maybe like you know when you're a kid and you're like, oh, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up. Since Lenny's like a child, he probably like that's his goal and that's his like dream in life. And then I think that kept George the same way. Like yeah, like I see that, like you know having that belief and just being excited about something. And they're never excited about anything. You see that there's always a situation going on in that area. So it's like something to look up to, but in reality, it's never gonna happen.
Are we done? I just want to go
You're not getting no farm. Let's move on.
Pessimistic. Go ahead, Casey.
That's true. It's realistic.
As I was saying before I even got to take a breath, was that so I guess it could be number 6 or whatever. I didn't even do that one, but I just looked at it. So like, okay, so Carlson, so Candy's dog, right? Did Candy want to kill his dog?
No.
He said I should have been the one to
And
shoot
you
him.
see, and I was gonna like make a connection between that and George and Lenny.
Okay, go ahead.
Because basically, I feel like Candy like wants to take it back. That's why he wanted to kill his dog. That's why I think George and Lenny, they make a big deal about it, because George really got the choice of whether he wanted to kill Lenny or not, and he took it.
I think
But
George
he
killed
saved
Lenny.
him.
He had to. I think he had to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he killed him
like,
because
it
Candy
has
said he should have killed his dog. See what
I
I'm
feel
saying?
like they both,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what
I
His
feel
I
own
was
friend
like,
killed
I
him
feel like
because he didn't want other
I
people
feel
killing
like
him or maybe torturing him. That's why
I
he
feel
killed
like
him.
they both do it out of peer pressure. Like Candy didn't. No, listen. Candy didn't really.
Oh yeah, Candy's right.
Candy didn't really want to kill his puppy, and George didn't really want to kill Lenny. It's because that the only reason he went to begin with is because they were all like, "Oh, if you don't come, then we're gonna think that you were a part of it."
No, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Honestly, I do, because Candy didn't have the choice to have his kid. Like they were all saying, "Oh no, you should get rid of it. It stinks. This and that." Like blah blah. He didn't really have no say. He was just like, okay.
He just did
Like,
it because everybody
I
else
feel like
said
he
to do
just
it.
gave up, just like George gave up on Lenny. He was just like, you know what? Maybe he doesn't have any use. Maybe I can't keep going with this dog, or maybe I can't keep going with Lenny because it's just time to give up.
And if he lived, he would have suffered.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
So it would be like George and Lenny. George was like, "Oh, I'll take away your life because I don't want them to take away your life." And then Carlson was to his dog, "I'll take away your life because I don't want death to take away your life."
No, Carlson took Candy's dog, but Candy said he should have taken his dog's life instead of his.
He should
Yeah.
just let.
It seems to me as if it's a pattern. Carlson kills Candy's dog. That's a choice. He said, "I want to kill him. Let's just get rid of him. He stinks or whatever." Let's go to Lenny killing the pup. That's an accident.
Yeah.
That's an accident. We go to the next one. Lenny killing Curly's wife. That's
That's
also
an
an accident. And now the last one is a choice of do I want to keep my career or do I want to live with this guy that wants to ruin everything that I've been trying and I've been
Building
shooting at.
Shooting
That's
I
it.
think all the killings, like, they try to justify why they killed that person or that thing. The justification of it is like, oh, I'm doing them a favor. I'm gonna put them out of their misery. If I don't kill them now, they're gonna suffer or they're gonna go through hell. So like, I just feel like that's crazy. Like, how you know that? Like, you never like. How can you take someone's life? Mind you, you don't know what's gonna happen in the future. Like, how can you determine that? Who are you?
Yeah.
You thought
Who
about
are
it.
you to take my life?
you're
Like,
not-
I don't even know what's gonna happen to
You're
me.
not even gonna know how to deal with it. Let
me hear from Matt and then Joel.
You just
But
said
for
right.
You're not gonna know how to live without Lenny. That's what I'm saying.
Let me hear from Matt and then Joel.
But for the part where George killing Lenny, I got one quote that Slim meant that said, and suppose they lock him up and strap him in a cage. That ain't no good, George. That makes what basically Slim is talking about. That which you got from page 97. That it's also one of the moral dilemmas that like George has to face, because the problem is that like Lenny says he did something bad. Like if George hadn't killed him, like Lenny would face something even more worse than death. Either they would have either tortured him, or Curly would have tortured him and killed him, or he could have been locked up in a mental institution and be subjected to one of the worst abuse like they would face. Even electroshock therapy, even abused there. Because back in the day, in mental institutions, a lot of times the treatment, sometimes not just shock therapy, they even like have several types, and not just that, but they also have abuse there too. And believe it or not, they still use that all the way up into the 1980s.
Yeah, it went on for a long time. The abuse of mentally ill patients was not good at all.
They want to bring shock therapy back.
And in addition
That's
to
what
that
they
one,
did to JFK.
I saw one documentary that was from 1972. There was one on Willowbrook though.
Yeah, I've
like
heard
that
of that
one.
one.
I watched that one too. I saw the whole thing. It was very sad though. Like seeing like a lot of them, they were like mistreated and such. Some that were not even treated properly. Even like the infrastructure, the maintenance was so bad. Even like
the food and all that stuff. It was bad.
And even the care, and not just that. Even they were like overcrowded. Even
they didn't have the resources to help them.
Even more shockingly, they were even treated with experiments with syphilis back in the late 1940s and early 1950s.
Yeah. Good point,
Yo,
man.
humans are horrible.
I think Carlson and George came from the same place because Carlson, he said that this dog is suffering every day. This dog can barely walk. This dog can barely see. So
Right.
Yeah, and he thinks so. I think he was trying to like help the dog and put him out of his misery. And for George, I think he did the same because they're like he was gonna suffer. Like let's say they ran away, everything was gonna happen again. Like in the beginning of the book, it's like how with those movies they start like at the end and like show what happened to bring him to the like to show how they got there. I think it's the same because like he like grabbed the lady or whatever, and then like they escaped and then went to a new town, and like they started where they ended basically.
Mr. Rosen, can I start a question, please?
We can always return back to the questions, but just keep in mind we have about 10 minutes left.
Number 5.
We didn't?
Let's do number 10.
Let's do number 3.
Hold on, Casey.
Yeah,
Casey's
Casey's number 3.
choosing the question.
Was George right to shoot Lenny? No. Yeah. Wait, he was right to shoot the one to kill Lenny because he was the one that was there for him and took care of him most of his life. But I don't think he should have killed him at all. I feel like if he cared so much about him, he would keep running until like his feet are bleeding.
But the same thing would have happened over and over again.
I know, but the thing is, he loves him. But like, why? Like Brandy said, why should he take his life? Like to make his life easier. You don't. He like you know.
He knows
But
that Curly's
yeah.
gonna torture him. He knows that he's gonna make him
He's gonna get
suffer. He knows he's gonna die anyway. He saved him all that trouble for
saved
me to
Lenny.
suffer.
I know. I get that. But the thing is, it wasn't really like Lenny didn't really have a choice in it.
I think
That's
the
my
question
thing.
is
Yeah,
where to
because-
go. They're saying that
Oh
if
yeah.
he should have killed Lenny. I don't think he should have killed Lenny, but I think it was okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yes, I think
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Maybe
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what
it
I was
should have been him.
Let's let Clarissa
Wait,
speak.
I put no because if George knew that they were coming for him, he should have told him to run. And I put yes that he should have been the one to kill him because in the movie it said that Candy should have been the one to kill his own dog, that he felt bad that he let somebody else do it, a complete stranger. And the same thing goes for Lenny and George. Because if a stranger killed him, like Curly only wanted to kill Lenny out of spite because of his wife. And that's wrong to kill someone out of spite. And George let him go out in peace because he was telling him about the dream that they were supposed to have.
Oh yeah.
And he made him all happy and everything. So when he dies, he'll be thinking, he'll be thinking
I
of
don't-
the dream.
Somebody click on that.
I don't think the part where George.
Let's talk.
One at a time, please.
I don't think the part where George should have let Lenny run away or whatever. Just warned him that people are coming to kill him. The thing is, George, after all the misery that Lenny had put him through, I think George wanted to take everything off his shoulder. he had all this pressure on him. He had all this trouble that he was carrying in, I guess, a little bag, which was Lenny. The thing is, George was just tired and wanted to be free. Wanted to let that bag off his back and just run free, do whatever he can. And in order for him to do that, he had to throw the bag. He had to get rid of the bag, which killing Lenny was the best thing that I think he had done in the novel.
So do you think it was partly selfishness to kill him?
No.
Do you think?
What do you
Oh yeah,
He
George
saved
going back
himself.
to, because
He
the whole time
saved
was, like,
he saved himself and he
down
saved the
and
misery that Lenny was gonna go through
Exactly.
if he got caught.
Hold on, guys.
You know how you said that you think it's selfish? That's what God said a few minutes ago. Like before,
Mm.
he was saying it's either kill Lenny or keep working or something like that. Like I would choose Lenny over working because he's been there through everything.
But Lenny
And a
killed the
job,
girl,
you could
though.
get a job any other time. A job is just a job. I mean,
Lenny
Lenny
was
been
gonna
there.
get killed anyway.
Okay,
I feel you, Lala. I
It's
get
gonna happen
why.
again.
Alright, he killed somebody, but it's like he didn't mean to do it. If it
It's
was
gonna
on
happen
purpose, then it's
again, though.
understandable. He didn't mean to kill her.
But
like,
we
So
keep
that's
seeing,
alright.
but we
Like,
keep,
like,
but how many times are we gonna keep playing this game where I killed something by accident? I put the mouse too hard. I put the puppy too hard. I accidentally killed a human being now.
But I feel like it's also George's fault because George should have told him what was wrong and what was
I
right.
agree
But
with
like,
that, yeah.
Exactly.
but
And
like,
after the first time, my bad. After the first time he realized that what happened, he should have talked to Lenny and explained to him like you're not supposed to do
Lenny was
that.
ready
Somebody
for
tells
Lenny.
you to let go, you let go.
Doesn't matter. George is too much of an angry person. He doesn't know how to talk.
Nikita, go
Who
ahead.
does
Who's dying? Okay. In my opinion, George had the right to shoot Lenny because I felt like he was like a burden to him, like you said. And I feel like he had to finally give up on Lenny because he saw history was repeating itself. George realized he did it, like he killed something again, and I think he felt like Lenny's future. I think he knew what Lenny's future would look like after that, and he knew he didn't want, like they were talking about how he didn't, like how he would be if he went to jail, like he wouldn't be able to like handle it, and George should have been the person to kill Lenny because it's only right, and what he did made sense because on page 106, George said, "No, Lenny, I am mad. I never been mad, and I ain't now. That's the thing I just want you to know." And then he said this right before killing Lenny, and he just made sure that Lenny was aware that he's never been mad at him for like all the things he's done. So I guess like he just wanted to make him feel comfortable before like doing that. Like he wanted to make sure he felt at ease like with everything that happened.
yeah, he died.
To make him feel like
Could we do
he
I
was
seven?
a
want to say a
mistake.
couple things.
Okay.
Yeah, on the last page it says, Slim says, "You had it, George. I swear you had it."
Right, meaning he had to kill Lenny.
Can we do 7?
Well, we only have about 5 minutes left.
I like number
So
7.
before we do that, I want to hear. I want to hear from the people who were recording anything noteworthy, interesting that popped out to you guys that you wanted to mention.
I want to ask a question.
Okay. Shh. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, how do you think George would feel if someone else killed Lenny?
Hold on. Can you repeat it louder, please?
How do you think George would feel if someone else killed Lenny?
How do you think George would feel if someone else killed Lenny?
He would probably kill that guy.
Yeah, he'll probably kill that man.
He'd probably.
Because everyone else thought Lenny was a nuisance. Like, why he here? He's just interrupting everything. He's just taking away time, wasting time, taking away lives for no reason.
But what if Candy killed Lenny? I mean, I think he's the most sympathetic character that we could get to kill
I don't
Lenny.
think George would be mad at all.
And I don't think Candy would do that.
He
Candy
would
would do
felt
that.
worse.
I think he would regret it because the same way Candy regretted somebody causing killing his dog. He said he should have been the one to kill his own dog.
Yeah, but I don't
Because they
think
were
he
there-
would have
they
done
were like-
anything.
Mad
Like, even if Crowley would have shot Lenny, not to
No.
torture Lenny, but even if he would have
Just
shot him,
like
he
just-
understood why he shot him. though.
just like how George was the only one that let George was the only one that made fun of Lenny, and he didn't let anybody else make fun of Lenny. Like he would be the one that killed Lenny. He wouldn't let anybody else do it.
He only saw the good in Lenny.
Oh,
Right,
okay.
I'm
good. This will be our last question. I'm gonna wrap it up for part 1 for today, and then we'll resume part 2 on Monday. All right, go ahead.
Alright, this was the question that you proposed yesterday, which was, is George responsible for Lenny's death? In my opinion, yes. In the long term, yes. I understood it, and my opinion was that George basically brainwashed Lenny. He told him what to do. He told him, look, this is not what people do. This is not what we do. You're not supposed to kill the little animals. You're not supposed to have the little animals. He just told them everything. He piled everything on him, and you know that he has a mind of a little kid. That he's not going to comprehend everything, and he's going to get nervous in a matter of seconds if he has to act fast. So I guess George, in the long run, he had the thing to do with Lenny's death.
I can go first before me.
Oh, that's nice of you to think.
I know another one though. What I want to mention that like adding to I'm got the part that George brainwashed Lenny is that in page 91 it states he ain't gonna let me tend no rabbits George said it to Lenny like so that like Lenny won't do anything else bad, but the problem is that like the more like George told him that one and brainwash him more, like the consequences gonna keep adding up, and plus at the same time Lenny doesn't even know like if I'm right or wrong though.
Yeah, I mean, he can't really identify right from wrong. He just knows if I do this, there's consequences.
Yeah.
He doesn't really know why. He just knows, oh, George said it, it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
He like
It's a bad thing. It's a bad thing. I've done a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And he
Almost
like
every
remember
sentence.
it,
Another
he
thing to add in
remembers it because at the end when he was about to die, and he was like, "All right, George, tell me that I'm punished and tell me that I'm a bad person.
Right,
Tell
that's a
me
good
that
point.
You rather leave me and that I'm a burden." He's used to it. Like it's not.
It's
he knows he's
expected
gonna.
of him.
Yeah, he's
Right.
like, yeah, I know what's gonna happen.
It's-
but
it's-
I'll still do it.
It's through rote, meaning like he just does it through memory. There's no like he hasn't really like
He doesn't
Grasp
comprehend
it.
it.
right. It's not from within him. What were you gonna say, Joel? You had your hand up.
Oh, what was the question?
I don't know. You had your hand up. Okay.
I think
Tomorrow.
it seems to me as almost every sentence at the end of the novel that Lenny always said, George ain't gonna let me tend the rabbits. George said I have nothing to do with you. George said that this is gonna happen. George said this. George said that. It's the thing is that he can't decide. He can't make choices for himself. He can't do anything for himself. He needs George to do everything for him. And just like we saw, George couldn't even have free time and go play horseshoes with the guys that are outside and leave Lenny alone without any trouble. And it's just a matter of brainwash that Lenny just.
That's why it's his fault. Because if he listens to George all the time and stuff like that,
Comment.
he should. Oh my God! Look at that.
All right, that wraps it up. That wraps it up for part 1. We'll pick up on Monday. Thank you very much. Good discussion, guys.